Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with three S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis. Up top, as always, is Michelle. How are you today, Michelle?
I'm good. It was nice to get excited about the episode and to watch it live and just
Chill.
feel the excitement and chill. It was great.
Yes.
I enjoyed the episode a lot, actually.
Me too. And we have Matthew. How are you doing today, Matthew? And what were your immediate thoughts about the episode?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad I was randomly paired with you two tonight. I was nervous I was going to be with Derek and Enzo, but excited to be here for another week, and thought it was a strong episode. Not too happy with the outcome, but we'll definitely get into that.
Now, last week I said, I'm like, there's no way that Cashhay and Cinco aren't going to be randomly partnered this episode. And
Yeah.
I laughed out loud when it happened because I was like, the producers are so predictable here.
But I thought it was also interesting because I was predicting that for sure. But I was like, there's no way they're going to put two amazing race people together. Like, right away? Like, really? Like, it's so early. It's such an easy way to throw them in. So when that happened, I was like, and it was first or like whatever, whenever it happened, it wasn't first, sorry. But I was confused. I was like, oh, but I think it's smart because everything seems so random and there's some like same show and not same show. And then you have the Cinco Cash, like you have that combination. It makes it seem like it could be random.
There's no random in that at all. But what do you guys think about
it?
Most of the pairs, though? So, I mean, I wrote down them all, but were there any of them that stood out to you that you're kind of worried about or thoughts about?
I wasn't necessarily super worried for anyone in particular, except for maybe Domenick for a moment, because I was like, oh, Domenick's with Shannon, like, I don't know. And they showed him in like one or two confessionals this time. So I was like, uh-oh, like, if like he could lose, you know what I mean? So I was a little concerned about that. I was a little surprised that there were so many like double survivor pairings and like some double big, like I thought they would make it super random.
Maybe that's them trying to make it look random. They would never do that if it was random.
Never do that.
They're doing it on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I had a little bit of that, but I was excited that it was different. I was like, you know what? This is going to be unique. I immediately was like, Tyson's going to probably do well or win with Justine because she's also very athletic and tall. And like, even though she's upset at him, like she obviously wants to win the money and win the challenge. Like you're the only safe if you win. So like you always have to want to win, which I think is cool.
And I wonder if like the reasons why the randomizer put Justine and Tyson together with the hope that there would be a little bit of dissension because he just sent Cely home. Cely's her best friend in real life. And now she's partnered with him. So there's going to be definitely at least a conversation. So I'm wondering if that's why they were randomly placed together.
Yeah.
It seemed very convenient. Some of the partners, I thought one of them that stood out was Danny and Desi. Right off the bat, I thought that was a super strong one. I thought they could have won it. Kind of sucks that this is the challenge they were partnered together with because it is a little bit fluky. And also, I mean, Tyson just dominated completely. So sucks that we won't see Danny and Desi together for a while. But
we can hope that we get to, though, I guess.
Yeah, down the road.
That's the thing. We can hope that we get to. And I think they're both very strong. So hopefully they don't get screwed over. Hopefully she doesn't get partnered with David.
Hi, Sophie. So Sophie says, hi, guys. Poor Tiffany. I think that she would have done a little bit better if she was on the MTV version of the challenge. I don't know about that. Would you guys agree or disagree here?
No, I thought she could have done pretty well in this season. I don't know if the MTV version is for her. I think if they do a season 2 of USA or CBS.
And she came back.
I could see her going much further. It seems like she was kind of just a little bit screwed with the cast and the format here. But I don't know if MTV would be much kinder to her.
Yeah, I think she could have done really well if she had gotten through this week, perhaps. I think that, like, what I found interesting once they showed everything as we get through it is just that, like, I feel like this was her own doing because even though, yes, they all were like, oh, she's the glue that holds them together. And that was kind of already working against her. What really solidified it was her actions and the Love Island people's thoughts on her actions. Mm-hmm. And that leading to like other people's thoughts and them all coming at Justine and Tyson from different angles and different perspectives. And it being obvious, okay, well, we have people to back us up if they do happen to win. So I think that like she did it to herself, truly. Like I was like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Think she did
I had a feeling that this was going to be the way that it was going to go, because I saw a live that Cashay and Shannon did, I think it was yesterday, and Tyson was in the comments of their live and like acting as if they were friends. And so I just felt like they must have built a bond or something there. And when I was seeing this episode, I'm like, maybe it's because of this episode. Like maybe he's like does a solid for her and like they start becoming friends after that. So I was kind of like thinking that maybe this is the direction it was going to go, especially, okay, we're going to talk about it probably later, but when he carries her to the bunk bed and she has her confessional and saying like, he's not your man, I can do whatever I want with him. Like, that was, I think, one of her biggest missteps, is not caring about the women that are with these men that she is building these relationships with, because they also have a partner and they also have all the other people that they're working with. So they could have more influence than you're really giving them credit for. So I thought it was definitely a misstep in Tiffany's strategy in game.
I will also say as a side note that like when that moment began to happen, I literally was like, reached for my book to write down the hookup point, and then no hookup. I'm like, all you did was piss her off, but you didn't even get a hookup out of it. You got nothing out of it. You literally just left you in the bed, and it was very innocent, actually. Well, but the effect is the same as if you had hooked up. Like
fair, but what about like the preseason hookup that was spoken about?
Yeah. I was shocked by that. Sorry.
Yeah, I was shocked by that as well. I mean, I had no idea that was a thing. I mean, there was kind of some hints in the first episode, just like a little flirtation, more like behind. It was more kind of in the background, but yeah, I mean, definitely kind of alluded to it tonight and kind of confirmed that. So that was interesting. I think the hookup point should count. I think it must have happened. Maybe they didn't want to show it because it's CBS, but
okay, we'll debate about it at the end. We'll decide whether or not that's a hookup point or not. Probably since she's gone, we'll probably say yes, just because like,
well, I'm like, yeah, but it's like, you know, we didn't see anything, but you're right, they did admit that like, yeah, something has happened. So they could at least get, yeah, I mean, we'll discuss, but
hi, Danielle. So hello, everyone. What a great episode. I didn't want Tiff to go so early, but I really didn't want James to go. So I'm happy at the end, at the outcome or whatever. Yes, I'm happy at the outcome for sure. I do think that Tiffany dropped the ball this episode. I think that she assumed that she was safe and she didn't put any more work in. And in these games, you kind of have to still put in the work. And so I think she just is not used to how quickly things can change in that house, and didn't realize that she didn't have the connection that she thought she did with Tyson. Ooh.
Yeah.
Sophie, thank you for the super chat. So why are there only 3 Amazing Race stars on this show compared to the other shows that are part of it? That is a question for CBS, Butta Murray. Like, I don't know. It seems really unfair.
Every single person that I explain the premise and how many people are from each show, they're like, that's so unfair. That's such a disadvantage. I'm like, yes. But so far they're slaying. So far they're loving.
I mean, I honestly think if they didn't come in last in that elimination, I still think they would have been safe. I don't see the 2 of them getting thrown in, even though it would have been so easy. I still think I think all 3 of the Amazing Racers are set up pretty well, like barring any sort of crazy pairings next week. I could see all 3 of them lasting quite a while.
Well, especially since Cayla can't be with James ever again until everyone's been with everyone. So she has one more chance of being with Leo, and those chances are even slimmer. And we know that now James is going to be with somebody else. Hopefully he'll be with a survivor or a big brother or whatever, so he can have a little more agency, because clearly he can be good strategically if he's given a moment to be.
So what did you think about Xavier and Aza being partnered together? I was like, that's another random pair. Like, you know, but she had a crush on him on Big Brother, and like it was like a high school crush or middle school crush on him, and he pretty much shot her down, and she wasn't really feeling him by the end of the season. I think she was just like obviously upset that he shot her down, and then they put them together. sneaky.
Yeah, I was surprised. That was one that I was like, they're trying to be like, it's not obvious by putting two Big Brother people together from the same season. I was like, that's weird. They didn't really show them much. At first, I was kind of concerned. I was like, oh, this could be bad or something, but it didn't really amount to much. So
yeah, I mean, I think what kind of hurt this episode a little bit was once James and Cayla got 0, it was like pretty obvious that no one else was going to get 0. And Enzo alluded to it, like, let's just get 1. And like, I thought that was pretty smart on Enzo's part, like just play smarter, not harder. And everyone just had to go for the 1. And James actually tweeted tonight saying that they actually went first in the competition and they didn't air that. So, which makes it even make more sense why people were not necessarily going for 9 to beat Tyson. Like they were just going for the 1, 2, 3. So they edited it a bit better, so it wouldn't be as obvious, I guess. But yeah, to me, like once we saw James get 0, it was kind of done. And
So Desi, though, before we got to the challenge, is not wanting to be partnered with David or Enzo. Enzo's getting a bad rap here. Is he terrible? Like, I know he's one of the older guys for sure, but he's been working out. Like, he looks pretty fit. Why do you think that people doesn't take things seriously?
Yeah, I think, well, and also, like, even the way he was in this challenge, like, sure, he's like, yeah, this is all we got to do to win, but it's like, he doesn't really have that. He doesn't come across as someone who has that drive to win. I thought she said him and Derek.
Yeah, I believe she said she didn't want to be with Derek.
Oh, I just can't read my writing.
And
she said Derek. She said Derek.
In that case, I also disagree with her because I think Derek, while not super athletic, is tall and very smart and is obviously very driven to win. So anything like the elimination that we saw tonight, memorization, like there are a lot of people that I don't think would be able to do it. Like would have to go multiple times to memorize, you know? So
speaking of David, he was with Kyra. That's another team that I was like, oh, that team might not do too well.
Yeah, they ended up doing pretty well. They ended up with 6 points, which I think was second, tied with Tiffany and Cashel. But I mean, I still don't understand why David is on this cast. Seems
why
like
has he ever been cast? We don't know.
Yeah, like seems like a nice enough guy, but I mean, Danny's wife has more airtime than David through 2 episodes. So
wait, did he even get a confessional this episode? Because Drew drafted him because apparently he was all over the trailer. And so he's like mad that he didn't get any confessional points last week, but I don't think he got any this week either.
I don't think so. Yeah,
I don't remember seeing him.
I think it's 0 through 2 episodes.
Yeah.
That's bad. bad.
I'm not mad about it.
I mean, I don't care, but that's bad. So Angela, so after we get back to the house, Angela really thinks that it's a good for her and Tyson to be kind of diversified. Like they both have 2 chances to win the daily. So I'm happy that they're still choosing to work together. I was thinking that they probably would, but happy that like she's actually stating like she wants to help him and he wants to help her. So that's a duo that I want to get to the end for sure.
Definitely.
For sure. Because I think both of them would help each other at the final winning as well. I think like if they had to like, you know, switch up pairs and stuff. So I want that to happen for sure. So Justine has her confrontation moment with Tyson. Tyson's not that nice to her. I thought he was kind of cold and a little bit rude and basically saying like, well, you're with me now. So are you going to do well or like, do you want to win this? Like, and she kind of had to just like swallow anything that she was feeling. And it was like, wait, yeah, I want to win this. And it's true. Like she should just want to like use Tyson to win when she's got him. Like anybody that's with Tyson better win the challenge because like.
Exactly. And I mean, he's so ruthless in that way, but it's like, he's so used to being under the elements and being hungry and thirsty. And so everyone's true colors come out on Survivor, right? So like, he has no time for like these surface level emotions. It's like, you have to move on. Come on.
He's so like
and yes, it's smart for her because then if she gets a shitty partner for the next few weeks, she at least qualifies for that final and she just has to keep herself out of elimination and she'll be fine. So it's great to have him early on, I think.
Well, and if she wins with him at this point, and he would be like, I want to keep her safe because like maybe I will have her in the final. Like it's good to kind of build a bond with Tyson at this point because he's definitely the most consistently strong guy so far.
Absolutely.
I love him. So Cashay is freaking out a little bit over the fact that she's paired with Cinco. She's really, really not having it. She's like, just send me home now. And I'm like, Cashay, you are my number one girl pick, I think. So please do not be asking to be sent home because you're partnered with your ex-boyfriend. Like that is typical the challenge stuff. Like you are always working with your exes. So get over it and don't quit over that.
Exactly.
Over that. Like imagine she was on X's with him. Like would she just like quit immediately when she finds out the premise of the season? No, she wouldn't. But Sarah and Cayla, or like Cayla for the most part, was giving her good advice, saying like, you know what, use your relationship or what you know about each other to your advantage. Like you had a year of decent times. Like obviously, you know, you might have had issues in your relationship, but you know each other pretty well. And then Sarah's like, you know, you could probably communicate really well. And she's like, that's the reason why we broke up.
Yeah, that was a good moment. And I did like, I do want to give Sarah a bit of credit there. She had a nice kind of one-liner where after Cashay said, that's why we split up, Sarah was just like, well, you're screwed, and walked away. You know, that I can take Sarah in those small spurts.
Yes.
So that was nice.
Yeah, totally.
And she was fairly quiet after that.
Well, she had one more thing that I had a little bit of an eye roll for, but that's why she's on Hatable, Rootable. Because I'm like, sometimes I'll root a little bit for her, and then most times I'm hating on her. So I thought that it was also very funny. So there was a whole group of people that were sitting in, I guess, the living room kind of area. And Angela was there. And she's talking about like how the randomizer, and she literally did the air quotes. She went randomizer. So like the people in their cast don't think that this is random at all either. So, you know, my speculation or our speculation about that seemed to be validated by these house guests, not challengers, not thinking it was random. But Cinco doesn't think that the randomizer made things even though Angela was thinking this. I was surprised though that, I mean, I don't know what happened in their relationship. I'm wondering if it was Tiffany that came into their relationship, because why, like he's quite pressed as well about the situation. And if he like cheated or something like that, like why is he upset? So I'm just trying to still figure out like what happened. Do you know, Matthew?
I don't know, but I don't think it was, I don't think it was Tiffany. Maybe I don't know.
I do think the if I recall, the breakup was fairly recently before.
True.
Like fairly. I don't know when they filmed this, but I believe they were freshly broken up when the filming started, like within a couple months. So if something did happen with Tiffany before, maybe it was very shortly after they broke up. But yeah, I don't know too much about it.
Me neither. But Tamika's here, so Tamika might know the tea. Tamika says, yeah, the edit tonight was hilarious. I mean, I really enjoyed the edit tonight. Thanks for joining us, Tamika. Sophie's not happy with the outcome. I know, but there's a lot of favorites on this season, so we're not going to be happy with a lot of outcomes, I'm sure. Every week we're going to kind of be like, yeah. You know?
So how do you two feel about them going back to the flashback format? I didn't know how I loved it last week, but I don't love if they're going to be doing this every week where we don't really know what's going to happen until after that last commercial break. I'm not a huge fan of that.
Yeah, I liked it for last week because it was so surprising to know that it actually worked. But I guess this is something new that they're trying. What the problem is now, this week I expected that it was going to get flipped around to Tiffany because of the way they didn't show it. Right. So if they keep doing this, it's just going to become obvious to us that whatever we think is like the more or less likely option, it will be the option.
Right.
So I hope that they'll change it up in the coming episodes.
I'm wondering if for like last week, I think it was just because it was new and like they really wanted to have the surprise element. I'm wondering if they didn't want people to be upset that Tiffany was going to be in danger so soon. So maybe they're just trying to like save the favorites. Like maybe people be like, oh, she's going into elimination. I don't want to watch. Like maybe they just want to like hold off just because she's so popular and people want to see her succeed and do well. And so maybe they did that again this week for that reason. But I agree with you. If they do it again and each week, like it might make the show not as exciting.
Yeah, it just kind of makes the first like half of the episode pointless because you're just kind of being thrown all this randomness that doesn't even matter at the end.
Yeah, I like following along with the gameplay and seeing like what's happening, and I don't want the afterthought to be like, let me just show them how it happened when it wasn't. We're not watching Memento. You know what I mean? Like I want to see what's going on, and so yeah, as a strategy person, I don't want to need to be surprised, but maybe CBS's audience prefers to be surprised. True. I don't know. It's I don't enjoy it. I mean, it was fine last week, but this week I was like, I figured it was coming.
Yeah, I mean, I like in Survivor, I think in recent years they started doing a little bit of flashbacks once in a while, which I really liked when Survivor did that. But yeah, I mean, that's what it should be, once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where Justine and Tyson have their conversation. And what was funny also about it, he's so damn cocky. I love that he can back it up though, because he's like, because it would be really cool if like I won 2 of these in a row. It's like, she's so mad at you. And like, you're still like wanting her to like help you win a second time in a row. Tyson.
I loved it.
So this is where we first see Tiffany and Cinco flirting. And like I'd heard about them meeting each other at, I believe, a Big Brother 23 after party in LA. I believe I heard that they were talking a lot together. So I don't know if they'd met before that or not. And so I never really thought of them being an item or something. But then the flirting where she's literally sitting in like middle splits, like while she's talking to him, of like, this is a little bit extreme. He could be your son. Not trying to slut shame, but it's a little bit
yeah, and also it made me think that like, you know, Tiffany is a strategic player, you know, but then to make a misstep like this and not have anyone in her alliance that's actually truly fully gonna vouch for her or really like step up for the alliance, like Azah's never going to do anything to help you. She's not going to necessarily harm you. She won't like vote against her or something. But like, you know what I mean? Like she's not going to have Azah or as we can see Xavier or even Kyland like going out of their way to like help and protect her and make sure she's safe. So I just feel like that's also a downfall for her is like the types of allies that she has. They're not as, you know, supportive.
I mean, I think the thing with Tiffany that I was worried about the whole time, right when the cast was announced, really, I was worried about her falling into that same kind of trap she was in on Big Brother, where she is not, like, as you mentioned, Michelle, she's not going to have the support of her alliance as much as other people in the alliance will support each other. We saw that last summer where once the cookout got down to the final 6, she was expendable to almost everyone except for Hannah. Mm-hmm. And kind of same thing tonight. They kind of floated the idea that it was going to be Big Brother going in. Xavier was not willing to vouch for her. Obviously, Alyssa had reason to target her at that point. It was going to be either Alyssa or Tiffany, really. So I think Tiffany's biggest fault in the game is, I think coming into the challenge, she probably felt very secure in her alliance. And she probably felt that making these connections with the Love Island guys, specifically Cinco, because he is one of the stronger guys there, that she'd be kind of kept safe on 2 sides. But she didn't realize that she was still at the bottom of the totem pole for Big Brother. And they referred to her as the glue keeping Big Brother together. I really do not see that. I don't see that being the case at all. I think they kind of use that as an excuse. But yeah, I think she probably felt much safer than she really is and was.
I don't know if I think of Tiffany as the glue for the whole alliance, but I think that she is the strategist that people will turn to, and her opinion would probably they'll probably follow through with her plan. I think that she's a better strategist than everybody, including Xavier, even though he won the season. And so I think that glue, in the sense, like, maybe not everybody is willing to protect her, but I think that if they had to make a group decision, I think that they would all turn to her for kind of direction as to what to do. So that's kind of maybe like more like head of the snake as opposed to glue for Tiffany, maybe.
Yeah, I honestly see Xavier as more of the like glue or the head, just because one, he was the winner, so he's kind of representing the alliance. Plus, like, he has the connection with Alyssa, which Tiffany clearly doesn't have. Plus,
but Alyssa's coming for him, and Alyssa didn't even feel that he was going to be putting in any sort of effort to protect her. So I think he's a really passive player, and I think he lucked out that Tiffany was an aggressive player and got them to the final 6, and that they were able to group up and go against her and take her out, because he had all the guys that didn't like Tiffany, and then they were able to win some of those end game challenges. So I personally think that Tiffany is a better strategist than both him and Kyland, but I think the numbers wise and the competitions at the end of the season didn't allow her to do better.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, she's the better strategist for sure. I just think in like a game like this, especially with partners switching up so much, like the social side of things is a little bit more important than the strategy, which kind of has its pros and cons in itself. And I think Xavier is just like really easy to get along with. Like, he has these connections with everyone, and like it seems like he's got a connection with Tyson as well. So to me, like that, I mean, I guess that explains why he wouldn't have been an option. But to me, like, someone like Xavier is a bigger threat than someone like Tiffany.
I think yes, because he is physically more capable, I would say, than Tiffany. But it seems as though Tiffany can get these guys to do what she wants, many of them, anyways, and is not making nice with the women. Which I was like, I never thought that she would be taking that angle. And it also makes me kind of just rethink a little bit when I was really upset with Kyland for not kind of sticking with Tiffany after they were making out in the head of household room. And so now I'm wondering if more so, like, do whatever strategy you want, it's fine. If it was maybe a strategy getting close to him on a more physical level, intimate level, and that's why she kind of maybe made that move. And when maybe Kylan was like, could tell that she was just doing that just to get some power over him. And so it just made me rethink that whole scenario last season a little bit differently, seeing as I never realized that she was somebody that used her feminine ways in that way. I've never seen her do it before.
Mm-hmm.
So Shan also doesn't trust Tiffany. And this isn't good. If all these people that have the ability to gain numbers and traction and makes decisions don't trust Tiffany, that's not good, especially with Shan being in Survivor and Tyson being, in the power seat this episode. Well, don't get there yet, but it's not good to have people that are against you. And so I'm also worried for Shan, because Shan's kind of in a similar position, I think. But yeah, I was like, when Shan was like, I don't trust Tiffany, I'm like, ooh, Tiffany could be done here.
Because I'm sure there's a lot of conversations they didn't show of like, then all those Survivor people also talking with Tyson, being like, what are you going to do? Like, we don't trust Tiffany. Like, there was just so much ammo to not trust her, that it then became like, oh, I guess like she is expendable. So that's all good. I'll do that.
So we talked a little bit about it already. Cinco carrying Tiffany to bed. Now he's being a Southern gentleman apparently, and Tiffany's like, it's not your husband, it's not your boyfriend anymore. Like, I can do whatever I want. Why did they need to do that? Like, that, even if it was Big Brother, that would be really bad gameplay when you don't know who's going to have power.
Yeah, I thought it was a bad strategic social move. Especially since like she's in the room. Like, by this point, who's in the rooms. Like, you've been there. You know what I mean? Like, it just was in poor taste. Like, go off. Like, I agree with what she's saying. Yeah, like that is not your man. Like, you can do what you want for sure. But like, you also have to understand these people are a lot younger than you, these girls. And so they're going to feel a little bit maybe more sensitive or emotional to when you do things like this, because they're not necessarily at that level of experience and maturity to just be like, people do what they do. They're going to feel a way about it. So it's just, you have to think about that.
Yeah, I think flirting and, to kind of quote MTV, politicking is a very viable strategy in the right circumstance. And this was like, you have to read the room. Like, one, like, the guy's ex-girlfriend is in the room, literally. Plus, all of her friends are there. There's a group of 7 Love Islanders. I believe 5 women left from Love Island. Like, you don't need to kind of show, you don't need to be visibly flirting in front of everyone, in front of large crowds, when there's these numbers that are just going to throw your name out. It's like, it's so easy for them. You're going to make them upset. It's like, yes, like, they may have been a little bit catty about it at times, but you kind of have to expect that. So yeah, definitely a misread on Tiffany's part. And I wonder now if Cinco will be in more trouble, if he's going to be in trouble, or if now he'll be kind of safe for a while. Because now, like, are they going to care to go after him? Is Cashay going to hold a grudge there, or now
Possibly.
it's
I think it'll depend on who he's partnered with.
Yeah.
If he's partnered with someone weak, it'd be easy for them to throw him in. You know, if he's partnered with someone strong, you don't want to go against that in elimination. He's too strong. With a strong partner, he would be even stronger, right? So, but I can see if he's partnered with a certain person, like certain couple people, like maybe. But well, it depends on who gets power next week too. So I don't know.
So I misread my notes. So that wasn't what the segment was. My notes said Cinco and Tiffany had something, and I just saw Cinco and Tiffany and was thinking it was that scene with the bed. But no, it was that. And then the Shan news feed where she is, what did she say? That she's not a messy sharer, but she shares all the tea about those two having something. I was A, shocked when I heard that they had something, and B, since when did they do these little news segments like this?
I was obsessed with the segment, and yeah, Shan's just saying it, but like exactly what Sarah said, like she seems like now the type of person that's just going to spill all this tea to you. So you have a level of like, if she's hiding something, I will know. Like Sarah's never played the game with Shan, even if she has seen her season. So like, she doesn't know what it's like to be under Shan's spell, probably. So I think it's great because the fact that she's not even clocking already, that Shan sees her as someone she definitely wants to get rid of, right? Like, I think it was so troll. And like, as she said, she does it for a reason. She's spreading this stuff because it's seeding it's seeding hate, like negative thoughts towards Tiffany, which is her, obviously her goal right now. So
yeah, I really like it. It's really entertaining. My prediction, though, is unfortunately, I think Shan will be the first survivor to go. I think, I think Sarah, like, kind of dropping those hints that's like, oh, Shan knows everything. Like, she's got all these connections. I think Sarah and her alliance are going to turn on Shan, and she'll be the first survivor gone. Hope I'm wrong, but that's my call.
I'm wondering, sorry, I'm just thinking out loud. I do not know at all, but like I just had a thought in my head that I can picture Shan being with Tyson actually, and I don't know when the season it would be, but like, and turning on Sarah, because I heard that he doesn't like Sarah at all.
Oh, he doesn't.
Yeah, I listened to his podcast. He does not like Sarah.
So I'm wondering if that might be how it happened, because if Shan is with Tyson and she wins power, she'll be like, it doesn't matter. We gotta go for it. We gotta hit big. Like, we gotta take her out when we can. Like, let's put her up against like,
and then she'll win. She'll win that elimination. Ooh. Sarah will win. This is my prediction now, going on off of yours. She'll win, and then she's opened the gates, and then Shan gets stuck with a David or a certain situation.
And then
he loses, so she's automatically in. Sarah wins power or gets someone, they throw someone big against them, and that's when Shan can get in trouble. if Shan has a decent partner, I believe she has a good chance to win most eliminations if she has a decent partner.
Yeah.
I am worried for her, and I agree. You know, she's definitely someone that's going to be on the radar, but I'm hoping it's further down the road. And by that point, it's just going to depend on luck of the randomizer to see what goes down.
So Cashel wants to kick Tyson's ass, and I was like, "Oh, okay. I didn't
Right.
know that there was this rivalry happening already. Like he's 15 years older than you, Cashel. Like, relax." And so that's what we get before we go into the daily called "Yeah, Boy." I like
that.
a pun, but it was really, really bad.
Yeah, TJ did not seem like he was too into that.
So what they're going to be doing is they're going to be jumping onto a large buoy with tires on it with letters on it. Now, if you guys can just clarify something with me, they could take as many trips as they wanted and grab only 5 letters each trip maximum, correct?
Yes.
And now did part of the rules be that each partner had to bring at least like 1-2 letters back at once, or like did they not have to? Like, could somebody not have jumped at all and one person just did everything for them?
Yeah, I believe I think you just had to do the jump. And I think that's kind of a staple on the challenge where it's kind of they often do that. Yeah, you just fall off, you jump off right away and then someone else can go. Don't know if that makes much sense in this case because you got to run back and
Well, then why did Cashay go up again? So she jumps and makes an attempt, and then she falls in, then she climbs up again. So maybe she has to make contact or like unhitch at least
but I
letter.
also think she wasn't giving up at that point, right? Like, I think if she had chosen to give up, he could have kept going. Like, what was frustrating to watch for me with James and Cayla was like, he could have maybe made a 3-letter or 4-letter word with those letters he brought back, but he went back assuming that she was going to be able to. And then when he goes back up and falls, it kind of, then they were just done. And she hadn't brought any letters back. I think if he had put 1 word, they still would have lost because everyone, I think, got at least 2 words. But like that would have given the illusion that, okay, if someone gets no words, then they have a chance. So I think I think some people maybe didn't think the strategy through or just like didn't know how hard it would be or if their partner would be able to do it. I don't know.
I thought there was a big flaw in this daily because it was they were judging based off word count, not like not the size of words. They should have done like Boggle rules where the longer words you get, the more points it is. Like, who cares if it's in a crossword? Just get the most words or the longest words. Because I mean, someone could have hypothetically done 10 3-letter words, and I guess it would have been tough in a crossword format, but to me, like Boggle format would have been much better. And I mean, Tyson and Justine still would have dominated, but
then Angela and who was she with again? Angela
was with Leo.
And so they had, I think manipulation was a whole word that they had. And so they might have been competitive with Tyson if it was like each letter, because that's a pretty heavy letter word. And I think they got 4 words in total. So they could have maybe been competitive because there was pretty small words, I'd say, that Justine and Tyson had. I don't think they would have beaten them, but like I think that they would have been a little more competitive. So I definitely agree with you that I didn't understand. Firstly, I'm like, oh, it has to be a crossword. They didn't just have to put like the words up there. I'm like, okay, then you can kind of reuse some letters a little bit with that. So like if you only have 1 E, you can kind of use an E twice, sort of, or like it makes it a little bit easier to make some of the small words, but like you should also just be able to have it on the board as well. I don't know. I there's a little bit flawed, but I liked it because I liked that it had a few different elements. So it had like the fear factor of jumping onto something high. You had to get the letters and you had to swim back and then start placing them in a time format. So I thought it was a well-rounded competition or a challenge, but I think I agree with you. I think it had some flaws with letter creation, word creation. Sorry. So, were there any duos that really stood out for you? Leo kind of had a little bit of trouble. He didn't make the first jump. We do get a confessional from Sarah talking about her son and being like, "I'm going to bring you back $500,000." She's saying that too often. She's not winning the game. Like, there's no way that she would say it that often, right? Or is it her winners at it?
I hope it's not her winner's edit. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that she's saying it kind of makes me think either she will be there at the end or comes up just short. And then it's kind of more of like an emotional exit, similar to her last reality TV experience. But I could see her winning, unfortunately.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, so not fun. Somebody in the comments was mentioning this, and I wrote it down somewhere as well. But whose comment? Who said it about? Oh, Cashay. Cashay has some good confessionals and some good lines, and she's talking about Desi and her arms, and she's like, "Why do you need to have biceps like that when you're just passing the salt?" And I was just like,
Not even flexing.
not even flexing. And then you're seeing like Desi doing the challenge. He just like hops onto the buoy and like made it look so easy. It's definitely Desi. She hasn't gotten a lot of screen time, but like
her moments are good, and she's iconic. She is like a doll to me. Like she just has no flaws.
I agree.
She's no flaws.
So Tyson is also worried slightly about Cashel, which I thought was also very surprising. He's like, are those model muscles or are they practical muscles that he has? Because apparently he's obviously younger and has more muscles than Tyson does. I thought that was very interesting that, they both had comments about have their eyes on each other, we'll say.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So I was getting worried because I saw that Tiffany and Cashel were in power. And so I was like, oh my God, if Tiffany's in power, I don't know what she would do. She might take out somebody that I like. Like, I don't want her. Well, she wouldn't put up obviously Cinco and Cashay, but like I wouldn't have known what she was going to do, and she might go for the jugular. So I was worried when Tiffany and Cashel got 6 words, because at this point they were in the lead for most of the pairings.
Yeah, I feel like looking at the teams, I think Tiffany and Cashel probably would have. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe throw in Dom and Shannon, but I don't think Cashel would have gone with that.
He might have gone for the Ben Shan combo.
Yeah, maybe.
Which would have been fucked. So I'm glad that did not happen.
Especially since Ben and Shan at that point, they got 5 points or 5 words. And so it looks like there could be a strong team as well. And if Tiffany is smart, she would know that Shan is also coming for her. And I believe that Tiffany watched that season of Survivor, even though she's not a Survivor fan. So
she would know, yeah.
But you know what? I don't think that Tiffany watched any episodes of the challenge.
Really?
I don't think she did.
But I just think that, like, if you know Shan's game, you gotta become friends with her. You need to be in some sort of know with her, because you know she's going to be playing a million things at once. So if you do not have a strong relationship with her in the house, know that you're at risk. You should know. Even if you are close with her, you can be at risk. So, like, you might as well at least have a false closeness with her. And I didn't see Tiffany trying. I mean, who knows what they didn't show.
Yeah, she seemed to only be, like, thinking that the guys were the important piece of this puzzle for...
Maybe it's because in Big Brother, a lot of the times the men are the ones that are making the decisions.
And it kind of goes back to what I was saying before, where I think Tiffany on Big Brother saw that the guys kind of ended her game. So maybe she came into this thinking she has to be closer to the guys. Yeah, she had the relationships with the girls last summer with Hannah, Azah, Claire, and
maybe not Azah. But...
yeah, maybe not Azah as much. But she maybe came in overworking the guys, and it really
underworking the girls.
There.
Yeah.
So I thought that Cashay and Cinco, like, that was a nice moment, because we knew that there was going to be maybe problems with their communication. And, she said that when he says, no, I need you to do this, she was able to jump and fall off, and she fell off really well. Like, some people took some hard falls, and she definitely did a graceful, like, nice little pencil, like, jump into the water. And she can't swim apparently, so that's not helpful. But at least he was able to go make the jump, get some more pieces, swim back before she even got there. and they were able to get some pieces on the board. So I liked seeing people overcome certain things. I'm happy that she didn't. Well, how would she quit? Like, would she have to get like a helicopter to come in? Like, I don't know what she would. What would she would do?
Like, it's not that far. Like, I would have been afraid, but that if I already made the jump, I'm just gonna go and let go.
Yeah.
Like, you're already on it. Like, for me,
that's the harder part. Is
the
like
worst part for me would be climbing that stupid ladder.
That's true.
And getting up and then being like, oh fuck. Once you're up there, excuse me, just do it.
Yeah, just do it. Going down, the fastest way to get down is by jumping. So just jump. Alyssa had a couple of good lines when they were going. She's like, oh, this is free couples therapy. I'm like, everybody had the jokes this episode, I found. A lot of one-liners and a lot of confessional moments with people like being kind of funny. Alyssa's kind of funny.
Like, are we starting to like Alyssa?
I think I like Alyssa.
Well, the tactics she was using this episode, I was impressed by. Like, she knows that Xavier lied to her that whole game, and she has all this betrayal, but then she just uses the emotion of it and is like, what are you going to do to help me? Mm-hmm. And then he helps in a way, right? Like, he does. Yeah. He says, yeah, I'm fine with Tiffany going in. So, like,
yeah, and I mean, she sussed out that Xavier was the key to saving her, and that's, I mean, she obviously knew Xavier and Tyson had this relationship, and she used Xavier to save her, which was really strong strategy there. I'm an Alyssa fan. I was never really not an Alyssa fan. I thought she was okay last summer. I don't
love the showman strategy personally, unless like you're like really like, I don't know. Has there been a showman's from Big Brother that like I really liked in the moment? I don't think so.
Was
the only one I ever not with Xavier, but with Christian.
Oh,
so she was just kind of lying around the whole summer, and like, I don't know, I just was like not feeling that.
Literally forgot she was not really important to me last summer. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't have distaste. Like, I was
kind of like the Nicole Franzel strategy. I'm just like not really down with it.
Yeah, I was just
I was just kind of like, exactly. It's like, and like she wasn't. I knew she wasn't going to win the game just because we knew that the cookout was going to make the final 6, and so at that point I just was like, just when is she gonna go? Like, is it now or next week? Like, at that point, I wasn't really rooting for her because I knew that she had no idea how powerful, the cookout was.
Yeah.
But I was starting to wonder, though, why TJ has been saying in his interviews, like you, Matthew, is like, oh, Alyssa's someone to watch. That's someone that can go over to the main season. Like, she really impressed me. And so the fact that TJ's saying this about someone, I just feel like she's going to be doing stuff. So she started showing her doing stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
So I wonder what more she's going to do to get all these accolades from TJ. So Tyson and Justine go, and honestly, they were like a well-oiled machine. Like, she goes, she jumps. I thought she missed one. She comes down. He just keeps on going back and forth while she's doing the puzzle. And I'm like, that's the strategy.
Yes,
get as many pieces as possible. I mean, obviously we know to get as many pieces as possible, but it seems like nobody was deciding to get as many pieces as possible. They were thinking that it was better to have, both people jump a few times and then both people work on the crossword puzzle.
And as you said, with Cayla and James losing at the beginning, if that's the way the order really was, they don't have that extra fire. But in Survivor, you always have that fire.
Yeah. Survivor people. Well, Tyson
is yelling at you.
Tyson wants to win at all costs. So I just loved how they work together. I love that we find out that she loves crosswords, and she was able to excel with Tyson. I was really happy for Justine, especially since her best friend just left last week, and she was able to get over that and get with Tyson and win. So I was really, when they saw they got 9 words, I was like, they're winning this.
Yeah, Justine did really well, and this is going to sound crazy, but it's very early. But Tyson is giving me CT vibes. I think he is just so dominant in anything that they're going to be, any of the challenges they're going to be doing, dailies, like just looking back at the MTV version, Tyson is going to be so dominant in almost everything. He's very smart, and I think people are going to be scared to ever call him out when he's not in power, which is like the epitome of CT. no one wants to call CT out just
and they
out of
all wanted
fear.
to be their partner. So
That's the thing, is all the girls want him in the end.
Yeah, the
or
girls
even
have
for
no
a daily,
incentive.
even for a
And the
daily now.
guys are going to be like, fuck, like, I don't want to go against him. He's so smart. So they're just going to leave him and try to
And
be
let
on
him get
his
to the
good
end.
side as much as possible. So you're right. I was thinking of him just because of his personality and the way he speaks about himself, of like a Wes vibe of like, of course I'm amazing. Everyone loves me 'cause I'm the best. It's that Wes personality mixed with the CT like unstoppable nature of like, you actually are afraid, even though he's not a big dude, but he's just dominating. Like his swimming
Good at everything.
skills, and he's so good at speaking. Like if he's in danger in a future week, you know he's fucking talking to everyone.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna have everything, like he's gonna have it locked down. I'm not concerned about him being in trouble unless he actually like loses and has to go in. Then like we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I can't see that.
I can't see him coming in last. And looking at the cast, everyone that's left, I'd be completely shocked if anyone threw him in at this point.
Unless, what if? Ooh, sorry, I just got. Oh, I really hope that this doesn't happen. But what if somebody's like there's another alliance, whatever, and he's partnered with somebody in another alliance, and they make him DQ, like they DQ him, so like he has to go in or something like that. Like maybe
But
he's
the
someone
partner
like
wouldn't do
that's
that.
true.
Because that's their life in the game. That's
The only
unless they're
person
just giving it up.
The only person that would maybe do that would be Shannon, but I don't see it.
No, I don't see it. She wants to win. After she did decently, like anyone who's with Tyson, he will have the ability to motivate them and make them feel like you want to win. Because if you want to go to the end, this is how you do it. If you sabotage this, then like you could go home too. Like,
Exactly. Like let me help you qualify for this final.
Let me help you win. Yeah, exactly.
So Sophie thinks that they're giving Tyson a winner's edit. Do you guys agree?
I don't know. I feel scared. I feel like it's too good right now. Like I feel like, and just I listened to his podcast the other day called Surviving the Challenge. And I don't know. I mean, obviously he's not giving anything away, but and he's saying how amazing he is. But he also made a reference point of something of like
the challenges are not as good as
I went in dominant, like I knew I had to dominate and show myself as a threat from the beginning. But like, is it
maybe they're going to change up the format or something again?
Well,
and it's
just like, is it going to be too much? You know, you have to just find out. So I just feel,
I don't know about. I could easily see. I think he's the front runner at this point. Obviously, very early, so it's hard to tell. But I honestly, I could see him going the whole season without seeing an elimination. But once you get to the final, it's kind of a crapshoot. We got to see the format of the final. If it's like one pair or if it's switching pairs.
I don't think it can be just one pair if they're not doing one pair for the whole season.
That's ridiculous. So if it's going to be a final where you're switching partners every leg, it can be very fluky. So I don't know about necessarily winner edit, but I think he's definitely a front runner.
Mm-hmm.
So Tyson also has a strategy with like intimidating the people watching, and that was that he was breathing through his nose, and that apparently he learned that with cycling, when you're going to overtake somebody, that you breathe through your nose so that you look more dominant and confident, and that you have a lot more in the tank than you might actually do or have. And so he was doing this in front of them when he's running back for another time, and everyone's just like, wow, like Superman, like he's just amazing. And so I also love that even that is part of his strategy, is like to get them, just build that momentum of them being very intimidated by him, to know that he's good at everything. And if he goes down into elimination, he will probably be coming back out and coming for you. So I like this. It's smart.
Yeah,
it is smart. So is there anybody else that had an interesting run, or is that pretty much it? Oh, Desi and Danny were pretty good. They had 6 words. And so if Tyson and Justine weren't there, they might have been like, I don't know how they would have done a tiebreaker between them and Tiffany. But I was happy that they were pretty good. Like they dominated. So it sucks, like you said, though, Matthew, that they will not be partnered again for a while. Which blows. So we have deliberation now that we know that Justine gets her first win. She's probably like the taste of a win. I'm hoping she tastes the blood. Like now she's got that fire to win. I'm hoping that this will be good for her and maybe even good for Shannon, because Shannon was a little bit like, sad last week, kind of wanted to go home. They stayed. This week, she was happy with her performance in the challenge, even though she didn't win, but like, getting that motivation back. But I think like seeing like somebody from Love Island dominating, qualifying to run the final, like I'm hoping that will give her some energy to like do better. So
yeah,
go
I
just
want to see her have a trajectory that's unexpected. Like that would be entertaining for me.
Who, Justine or Shannon?
No, Shannon, to like kind of just get stronger and better and like be one of those people that just like improves and really like, every so often you get that person that you think is going to be horrible, but then they just like keep surprising themselves. It's like always a nice storyline to watch. I don't know. I'm not saying that'll be her, might not be, but like I'm always interested in that.
Maybe she'll be like the next Ashley Mitchell.
Yeah,
maybe it could be
kind of the same archetype. I could see a trajectory like that. I'm not sure about becoming a millionaire, but
win twice in this case. Or I guess no, it's 500,000, but win 4 times, no problem. So we get to the deliberation. We see Justine's there, and she's like, "Yeah, I play crossword puzzles on my free time or apps or whatever." I thought that James also was really good in this deliberation, where he's so like, he kind of said what the obvious things were. He was saying like, "There's the only big brother, duos," and then he's like, and Justine, I don't know how you would feel like this, but there's also Tiffany and Cashel, and just even throwing that in there, I thought that was really, really smart, because he must have known that it might be able to be somebody that A, he could beat, and B, that people might not be protecting or supporting. And so I thought that was so smart of him to A, run it by Justine first, being like, I'm not trying to make you do something that you wouldn't want to do, but what about this as an option? So I thought it was great.
Like spoke so well, and like I just love watching James play the game. It's amazing. And the fact that he's aware that that's a seed to plant just shows that he's got a good temperature on what's happening in the house, which is amazing, because you wouldn't expect him to necessarily.
Definitely. I really underestimate his gameplay. And somebody in the comments was saying that he was on a TV show. I knew he was on another TV show on the CW network, but I never had watched it. It was called Capture. And it seems like it was similar. I don't know if you guys ever watched Hunted. It was on like a couple years ago. I believe it was on NBC. And it was like people, like these duos that would have to try to hide from FBI agents, and like they're just trying to like get to like certain drop points. Anyways, that was a really cool show that I really enjoyed. And he was on something similar to this. It was out in the wilderness, and they had to like try to avoid getting caught, but then building up points along the way or stuff like that. So apparently he was like a fan favorite, or he did strategically very well. And so I might have to go find that season and see for myself. But yeah, I definitely underestimated his strategy, because you don't really see that kind of strategy on The Amazing Race.
Yeah, you don't really associate much strategy with the race. And I think we touched on it last week a little bit, but his knowledge of the players he's playing with is just so key, where he's already gotten the ins with Tyson. He seems to know how to talk to every single person in the house and kind of what will resonate with them. And it's just working so well. He's getting what he wants both weeks so far, and like really positioning himself well to the point where he's probably only going to go into elimination if he comes in last in dailies, which, like, to be honest, probably will happen at some point again. He's definitely one of the physically weaker men in the house, but if he can continue to keep himself in this position, he's going to be a force for quite a while.
Definitely. I mean, he knows how to get himself out of sticky situations. So I'm happy to watch him try. Sorry if that means you're gonna have to go in a few times or what, but like, I like him getting his way or getting out of elimination. Like, I want to see that. I want to see people going to work, and I don't want to see it in a Flashback empty or CBS. Please, I don't. Not anymore. It's enough. So I didn't really think about this for Tiffany, but Cashay, after the whole bed scene, is kind of talking to Kyra, who also his ex-boyfriend is Cashel, and Cashel's with Tiffany. And Cashay is saying that Tiffany just is intimidated by beautiful women. I never really got that from Tiffany, but do you guys agree with that?
I didn't agree with the way she was saying it. I was like, that's not really what I see personally. I just see her, A, having fun, B, trying to strategize in her way and missing the mark on having the awareness of how they're going to be feeling about it. But I don't think it's because she's like, oh, they're so beautiful, I hate them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that she's necessarily like that against women. Like, I haven't seen that behavior in her. I think it's more of just she's focused on herself and she's focused on getting her game forward. And there's a downside to that, unfortunately. So I think that's how I see it. But
yeah, that was the part of this whole situation I didn't really love. I thought, if anything, it seemed like the younger Love Island girls were intimidated of Tiffany and not the other way around. Tiffany seemed, and even said at one point, like, she doesn't care about Cinco's ex-girlfriend. Like, they're not a thing anymore. Like, she doesn't care. Might not have been the best thing to say.
She said, that ain't your man.
Yeah. So may not have been the best thing to say, but definitely didn't get any vibes that she was intimidated by the attractive young women.
But maybe they're picking that up because she's not befriending them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, I don't know, personally, like, if there were, I would not want to be dating somebody's, or like canoodling with somebody's ex in the game. I just probably wouldn't do that. I would more likely make friends with the girl and like be like against the guy personally. But maybe that's what they're picking up, is that like most women wouldn't go and choose that route. They would actually usually go inside with the girls.
Yeah.
Usually in those type of situations anyways. So we see Tyson talking to Tiffany, and Tiffany is basically saying that just throwing Enzo and Alyssa would be the best. And so I was like, that's also not great for you to say, Tiffany, because like Tyson could use this information against you easily. Like, you said you went against other Big Brother. Like, I know that all your choices were pretty much only Big Brother, but like, it was so easy for you to just throw out one of those names. Like, that's not a good look either.
No.
Yeah, it's not. It definitely is not. But maybe I'm just a huge Tiffany fan, and I'm just going to kind of side with her on anything. But to me, it really sucked to see Tiffany try to save Xavier. Again, like, try to keep Xavier safe. Last week, she tried to keep Kyland safe. She was working overtime to get Kyland an easier matchup last week. Now this week, she's trying, like, she is throwing Alyssa under the bus and Enzo under the bus, but it's to save Xavier, who she has supported now for a year. But
maybe she needs to be saving Alyssa instead of saving cash, or like not necessarily saving cash, but like making those connections. Because
strategically, I think you're right. I don't know if Tiffany has that in her to like turn on someone she has such a deep connection with. Like, they've obviously been through so much and they made history together. I don't think Tiffany could actually turn on Xavier or Kyland. And we saw that again tonight. And I think that ended up being her downfall. And to me, it just really sucked to see Xavier being able to turn on her and to not really see Kyland support her. Maybe he did. We didn't see it. But
this is exactly what I've been saying, right? Like, she doesn't have the support that she should have from these people. And that's like very evident. And the fact that Xavier lied to Alyssa while he was part of an alliance with Tiffany. You've already lied to Alyssa. You already burned that bridge. If you were smart, if you're perceptive, you would understand that, like, that's never going to be the same. So the fact that you're willing to go against someone who had your back the whole time and continues to, and obviously is a number for you, where Alyssa, you can't be certain. He, I think, maybe wrongly believes that like Alyssa
Alyssa's
still cares
more
the same
important.
amount because thinks highly of himself, and he
And
won the game.
he still has a kind of crush on her, I'm sure.
Yeah,
and
so
wants to make it up to her, the fact that he lied this whole time.
Yeah, so I thought it was an interesting game move, but I was like, oof, yeah, I thought that was rough, but I wasn't surprised. And like, where was Kyla in this episode?
I don't know where Kyland is, but I don't know why she felt it. Like, this is the thing, is if she's supposed to be tight with all of Big Brother, and Big Brother's all supposed to be working together, and somebody comes up and tells you, like, hey, it's going to be someone from Big Brother, and you just easily throw out a name, it just shows that you're not actually protecting some of these people. And I would take it for me being as, okay, she's not somebody that I can maybe trust later on in the game because she's willing to give up one of her numbers. Like, there's other people that I think that they could have maybe suggested, or like someone low on the Survivor totem, but like there could have been other people. And the fact that she didn't offer up anything that we saw anyways, I think that also could have allowed Tyson to be like, well, he did say that he could have more allies and rather have more allies than less. But I think that it just, for me, shows him that she's willing to do anything, and even throw in people from her alliance under the bus if it was going to suit her and her guys better. So
I think the thing with Tiffany is I think because she's known as this big time strategist, I think she also gets like this reputation of being sneaky and being someone you can't trust. But to me, like, Tiffany is one of the most loyal allies we've ever seen.
If she's with you, but
if
she didn't build that bond with half the house.
Right.
But she is so loyal.
But she's so loyal to the people that she is with, which it's why it kind of pains me to see the people that she is so loyal to not be loyal to her.
Oh yeah. It's definitely not great. It does.
Well, and also, I don't think she's watched back the season, because I don't think that she would be as kind to these people if she's watched back the season, because they weren't that kind to her in the game. So yeah, they might have made nice and like everything's all fine and dandy, but the things that they didn't like about her during the game probably haven't disappeared. And so they might not like her as much as she thinks that they do, because they never really did. So that's also something that I think that she needs to have a better assessment as to for what's going on. Watch back that season so you can really understand what the dynamics were, because I don't think she has as of yet. So lastly, though, Alyssa thinks that, assuming that she's going to be her going in with Enzo. And so she's like, you know what, I'm going to do what I can to stop it. And I like that attitude. I like that she like has a feeling that she's going in, and she starts going to work. And she talks to Xavier, tells Xavier like, hey, like, you got to help a girl out here, which I'm happy that she did. Like, use up that social capital, like get him to go to work for you, because, he might be listened to by Tyson. So that's good. So we have the elimination. So obviously we know Tiffany. Well, we didn't know, but Tiffany and Cashel comes out of Justine's mouth. So it was slightly surprising for the fact that Cashel is a Love Island person, but she's friends with Kyra. And we did hear that Cashel cheated on Kyra. So Kyra is probably like, I don't care if he's around. Get rid of him. I've already been partners with him. Like, it's fine. Like, I don't need him.
Like, he's not really a number for them. He's a wild card.
Yeah.
And so it's not really a huge loss for them.
And TJ, the troll that he is like, Tiffany, what happened? She's like, I don't know. And I also loved Tyson being like to Justine, like, your first blindside.
I'm excited to find out more this week through like podcasts and Twitter and whatnot, kind of what really went down.
Yes.
I'm
He's
sure
like,
there's
I can't
more.
wait. When does this podcast come out?
I don't know. I don't even know that. I've never listened to it. He's proud of her though for his first blind side. Like I love that. And she's like saying like I was really eating up all the strategy and like working with Tyson. So I'm happy that she got a little Tyson tutelage going on there. So they're going to be going up against James and Cayla. And this was a really good elimination, I thought. I think anybody could have kind of won it. Basically, they're riding bikes until they get to a certain level, which opens up 2 bars. They're able to see 12 different images, and they had to repeat the order of these images 3 times. So challenging physically, using mental power. I like the combination of that, and also that anybody can do that. Anybody can ride a bike, and probably has ridden many bikes in their life, and anybody can be good or bad at remembering puzzle or pieces.
Yeah.
So I love this. And Tiffany and Cashel out of the gate, they were top. They got the first one correct. And so I was like, oh my God, no, they're not going to send James home. I'm like, no. It can't be. And then they got into some rhythm. I don't know if it was the crowd, like really hyping them up. Like they were making it like they were on a Peloton, like spin class. Really fun. He's like swinging his shirt. Like he was just definitely making a show of it all. And they started picking up steam by getting the next one correct.
Well, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I felt like they were always much quicker than the other pair, but they fucked up the first part because she missed it. So they had to redo the first one. So that's why they were behind. But after that, they got to their answers, both of the next ones, more quickly than Tiffany and Cashel. And we saw how fast Cashel was biking. So I also feel like maybe it was like a 50-50. Like each bike had to do a certain amount of turns before it got to that light. And so it had to be like Tiffany's counted as much as Cashel. So like he couldn't make up for her being slower, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was maybe thinking. And so as you said, because James and Cayla, as they got on, like going in sync, like they just had a faster go at it.
So good.
Yeah, James was really
fast
fun
because Tiffany was fast at the memorizing. She did both rows herself. She was just like, it's like
that was definitely impressive on both ends. Cayla was saying that she was like making stories with the different images, which is actually the smartest thing to do when you're memorizing sequences like that. I definitely was very impressed by everybody being able to seemingly get it for the most part on their first go.
Yeah.
Would you guys go ahead? Sorry.
I've only seen a couple seasons of The Amazing Race, but that elimination felt like a very Amazing Race like challenge where it's like that quick memory, like quick do a task while you're memorizing something. From the episodes that I have seen, I recall like very similar things. So I think that was very well suited for them as a pair. So
I love the name as well. Knowledge is powered. I'm like, okay, someone's working overtime with these names this episode. Definitely very fun. And so I was impressed by Cayla and James because they were able to, I believe, get their third one before Tiffany and Cashel got their third one. So they kind of ended up passing them a little bit, and then they kept that lead and they got their third one seemingly on their first try as well. And so they are sending Tiffany and Cashel home. Wow. I did not think that Tiffany was going to be going out episode 2.
No.
I didn't think she was going to win the game just because I thought that if she ends up in there, she might be in a hall brawl or something where she wouldn't be able to compete physically. This one was well suited for her, but they were just better. James and Cayla were just better this time around.
They were just faster. Like if she had been against a dumb team who couldn't memorize, like she would have swept it.
Yeah.
You know, it just took her that little bit longer because she wasn't biking as quickly.
Yeah. So that is the end of Tiffany. And so the points this episode, we have Tyson. Go ahead.
Sorry, I realized also, because we decided last week the MVP gets 5 points. So we
haven't decided yet.
Yes. No.
I do want to, before we get to the points though, I do want to kind of just I do want to get a little bit into the decision to actually put Tiffany and Cashel in. We touched on it a bit. I don't think it was a great move for Justine, even though Cashel was kind of the most expendable Love Islander. Ultimately, I mean, they're such easy targets because they're not super strategic. They're nobody's really scared. They're not a threat to win these dailies when there's two of them together. So I don't know why when you have a chance to take out two Big Brother people or two racers, like why risk one of your own, even if they are the bottom of your own?
I think personally it's because of the fact that he was with Tiffany. I think that Tiffany was a bigger threat to Kyra, to Cashay. Like, I think all of them were threatened by Tiffany being in the game and not wanting to work with them. And so I think that that was the driving factor there. And the fact that Kyra was probably like, I don't need him around. I don't think he's.
But,
go ahead.
Yeah, I think that, I agree. And I also agree. I think that she was blinded in that way. But I don't think it was the best move for her. The best move would have been Alyssa and Enzo or Xavier and Aza.
Yeah, just get two of them out. And I like realistically, if Cashel was still in the game and next week he won power, he's more likely to save the Love Island people than any Big Brother or Survivor. Like next week, I assume a Big Brother or Survivor team will win, and Love Island is going to be in danger again. For the next couple weeks.
I still think, though, it's the fear of Tiffany, who's not going to be necessarily paired up with someone from Love Island, and that she might be able to throw them in. I think that fear was bigger than the fear or than losing a number in Cashel, especially since they didn't feel like they had him fully either. Like he wasn't maybe fully working with them. Maybe he was more so working with Tiffany. Maybe they didn't feel like they can trust him anymore. He also cheated on Kyra. So I think that they just were like, yeah, he was on Love Island, but like, he's not with us really. He's kind of out on an island. So, I mean, I kind of understood that. And maybe also Tyson convinced her that like, hey, like Cashel is coming for me. Like, wouldn't you rather have me on your side than Cashel? I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of put that in there as well, because he wants to take out any of the big guys if he has a chance.
So who do you think is in the most danger heading into next week? I guess it's hard to say two people because we don't know the pairs, but who would you say is the one person in most danger right now? Is it Cinco?
Cinco could be, because it seems like the girls are not willing to protect him, and they seem to be making friends. Like, we didn't see all the conversations, but maybe they did make a better connection with Tyson and promised Tyson that they wouldn't put him in no matter what. And so, you don't know what kind of deals went down. So Cinco maybe could be in a bad spot, depending on his partner. Maybe Enzo, since nobody really wants to be his partner. Derek, maybe because nobody wants to be his partner. David.
Yeah.
Out of the women, maybe Kyra or Shannon.
I would say David and whoever's partner with David.
David's he'll end up leaving in a week where it's just like they need an easy vote in. They don't want to break up like the main alliance.
What if he's with Angela next week?
Well, then he'll be safe in that case.
You're right.
Yeah.
Or like makes Angela lose. Oh boy, imagine.
Oh yeah, they come in last. That would be fun. I honestly, I just think the fact that like when we're talking through the people in most danger, it's most of the Love Island people. That just kind of makes me feel even more so that it was the wrong decision for Justine. Just like even losing any possible number. I mean, like Xavier's never going to side with them. Enzo's never siding with the Love Islanders. Although if you heard Cely's exit interview, he did have a bit of a connection with Cely, which is interesting.
I heard that.
A romantic connection.
Did you hear that, Michelle?
I did hear that. When she tried to kiss Enzo?
Yeah.
Yes. So maybe Enzo's out for blood now that they took Cely out. Maybe they should have gone after Enzo.
I think so. I mean, I totally hear what you're saying, but I just think that the fear of Tiffany was stronger than the fear of losing Cashel.
Who is afraid of Tiffany? Do you think like someone like Tyson is afraid of Tiffany?
No, I think that
just the Love Islanders.
The Love Islanders.
The Love Island girls. Essentially, all of the women who aren't Big Brother. And then also Alyssa. It's the majority. I just think the majority.
So Alyssa would want her gone. Shan wants her gone for sure. Could easily convince all the rest of the Survivor women to get rid of Tiffany. Desi, I'm sure, was on board with that idea. And then all the Love Island people. I think that it was actually appeasing a lot of people to be like, let's take out somebody that's really strong for the women, because that's also better for Justine to take out someone that's strategically really strong on the women's side. So
yeah, I definitely get that, and I think in the challenge that's kind of the most popular strategy early on. Like first few weeks, you take out like the house pariahs. I personally hate that part. That's my least favorite thing about the challenge. I think it's the way that I would look at it is, okay, everybody wants Tiffany out. Why am I gonna take Tiffany out when if I don't win next week, they're still gonna want Tiffany out? Now Tiffany's gone. Now they want someone else out. And is it going to be me? So I always hate that strategy and never quite understand it. But
I don't know if this was like a group scenario here, but I think that the reason why it happens is the less likely that people will like come for you if you did everybody a big favor. And so like in Big Brother, I more so don't like that strategy. Here, I think that making less waves is usually what people are trying to do. And so if everybody's in agreement with taking out Tiffany, that's good on your part when you win power in this situation, I think.
Yeah, we've seen so many times where it's like you put in like the easy target early, and then the bigger target ends up skating to the end, and then you don't have a chance to get them out. So I always hate that in the challenge where they just don't throw in these bigger targets.
So you would have preferred if Xavier and Aza were thrown in?
Yeah, I mean, I think like in my opinion, like
I think she might not have wanted to get rid of like a full black team as well. I don't think that she would have been into that personally. Well.
Yeah, that's possible. Or even I guess Alyssa and Enzo are not like a crazy big threat as a team. Or either of them is too much.
And if Cely's kissing him, maybe she wouldn't want to like go and send Cely's boothang in there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so and also like Alyssa was having those conversations and multiple people, like the influence of people around you. Well, you've got Cashay saying what she's saying, you know what I mean? You've got like all these people around you. Like I would find it difficult not to be like, it's in the first 3 weeks. I would say in the first 3 weeks, I'd be like, yeah, everyone wants this. Cool.
That makes it easy for me. Yeah.
It makes it easy for me because then any person, as long as the person I'm voting in, I'm pretty sure will lose. Like that's also important. So I was worried during this elimination. I was like, fuck. They made a, especially if Tiffany wins this. Ooh, they made a mistake. Yeah. But they got them out. So
yeah. I think for Tyson, it's just like he might win the first 3 dailies in a row. Mm-hmm. And then after that like grace period where the game opens up in week 4 or 5, then everyone's like, well, this guy just keeps winning. We have to throw him in. And then at that point, he's going in against stronger competitors because he did the dirty work for the house and took out all these easier teams. So it like has its ups and downs. But maybe I think I'm just sour that Cely and Tiffany are gone now.
I know. I mean, it's obviously not how I would want it to go because I like them both, but I do see the reasonings by Tiffany going in. Like I see why it made sense, and getting out somebody that multiple people don't trust on the women's side, like it's kind of a good move for now. Especially since Justine isn't that strategic. Like she doesn't want to get like one-upped by Tiffany, you know. So I think that she was just like having the opportunity to take out someone strong, and she's just going to go with it, and it's going to also help everybody in the house. So
plus Tyson was intimidated by the strength of Cashel.
Exactly. So do we find that Cashel is hot but kind of creepy? Do we agree with Jelly on that?
Definitely creepy.
Okay, so the points that we have today. So Tyson gets 5 points. Justine gets 5 points. James gets 10 points. And Cayla gets 10 points. So who are we proposing as the MVP this week? Chat, I know I haven't talked to you guys in a bit, but if you guys want to propose your thoughts on who should be the MVP this week. Chances of a season 2, Sophie, thanks for the super chat. I think that they are high. I think that this has been a success so far, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think there'll be a season 2, definitely.
Yeah.
And do you think of the 4 people that have been eliminated, any of them will be back for season 2?
I could see it.
I could see Cely wanting to come back.
I could see them bringing Cely in, like maybe not a first choice, but like as an option, you know?
Because she seemed to realize like, oh, I wish I was playing harder because like I kind of like this. It didn't really realize what it was going to take, but yeah, I think that she can come back and be pretty good.
Yeah.
In terms of my proposal for the MVP this episode, I'm going to go with an easy one. There's a few people that I think that deserve the opportunity. I think that James is in there. He should be in the running for the fact that he threw in an option that was a least likely option to go through, especially for the reasons that you stated, Matthew. Somebody that I guess he felt as though that he could beat, and he was really able to, work his magic to kind of get what he wants, so to speak. So yeah. I put him up there as an option.
I put him there. I'm conflicted because I put him up there for the same reasons.
Okay, so you give another name now.
Can I give 2 names?
Give one and then see who Matthew gives, and then we'll see if there's anybody else who wants to nominate.
I'm going to put in Shan because I felt her tea time was really epic, and she had some great moments, and really just planting the seeds. And all her confessionals are great. She really does a good job of setting up what her game is and giving reasons for everything that she does. So even though she hasn't been really important in any like challenge things yet, she's involved in convos. So
okay, Shan, that's a good pick as well. Matthew, who do you have?
Yeah, I mean, strategically, I'd say James was great. I just think it would be tough to give him the MVP when he did come in last in the daily and wasn't very close. So I would actually go with Alyssa. I think similar to James, Alyssa did a really good job getting what she wants to get what she wants this week, and she was able to get the revenge on Tiffany that she was seeking. So, I mean, ultimately she got what she wanted. She stayed out of elimination. Similar to James last week, I think it was a strong showing, and we were able to finally see some strategic chops from Alyssa. So I'm leaning that way.
She was on my list as well.
Tyson obviously is up there as well.
Yes.
Is that your other person, Michelle?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, James, Shan, Tyson, and Alyssa. Because Tyson dominates 2 weeks in a row. He's got great confessionals. He's entertaining. His strategy in the daily was impressive. His strategy, his reasonings behind things make sense. He is just showing himself to be such a dominant force. And like, in my opinion right now, like the game is his. So it's hard for me not to put my vote that way. While like strategic move wise, I think Alyssa did a really great move this week, and is playing very smart. And I liked her journey in the episode a lot.
Yeah, for me, it's either Tyson or Alyssa. Now that I'm thinking about it, the only reason I might lean a little more Tyson now is just because Alyssa did get what she wanted, but I don't know if that was necessarily the best thing for her. Although the alternative
is her going in.
So I guess, yeah, if there was no other option.
Yeah. Okay, chat. So let us know who you think is going to be the best MVP for this week. So we have Tyson, Alyssa, James, and who was the fourth? Shan. Let us know in the chat while we answer this super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat, Mr. Broadway Dark. I love that Cayla was able to win a memorization challenge, given it was what lost her the $1 million on her season. It's true. And that was the one that she lost with was easier, I think, than this one. So definitely kudos to Cayla for that. She could be a runner-up here for MVP. She definitely, improved big time and really dominated in that elimination challenge. All right, any votes, peoples? So we got Alyssa, we got Tyson or Alyssa. Tyson or Alyssa? Guys, only one. You have to choose one.
Someone else voted Tyson.
Is it Tyson? Oh, it's a Tyson. Hi, Joseph.
2 more for
Tyson for sure, because he's won 2 challenges already and he has 11K. Do you know what? He does have 11K. He has the most money. He won the challenge with somebody that was mad at him. He taught her how to make her first blindside. I think I could be easily convinced that Tyson was the MVP of this episode.
And just entertainment value and strategy value. He really brought a lot to the table. I will give an honorable mention to Cashay in this episode as well.
Yes, Cashay was great too with her confessionals.
Not full MVP, but definitely a supporting character.
Supporting MVP. Awesome. Well, that's pretty much it. We talked for a lot longer than I thought we were going to talk today, but obviously time flies when you're having fun talking about my favorite show. So thank you both for being here. Was there anything else that we wanted to address that we didn't talk about yet? Since we have Tyson as our MVP, give me those points, baby. Woo. Give me those points.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really shaping up for a fun season. We're bound to get that kind of Big Brother versus Survivor clash at some point. And it's going to be fun to see both sides kind of pick up the Amazing Race and Love Islanders. We'll probably lose 4 or 5 of them in the next couple of weeks. But the ones that stick around are going to be picked up by those 2 sides. And I think it's going to be a really entertaining season. It's a nice change.
Well,
Michelle got a lot of points last week, so we might be about tied. I'm not sure where we are right
now. Early times, right?
Early days. Any final thoughts, Michelle?
I'm sad that I lost Tiffany from my draft, but I'm ecstatic to still have James. And I just can't wait to see the pairings next week. But I'm getting so scared for my faves that they're going to get paired with someone that's going to ruin it for them, and I'm nervous.
I still have David. I haven't lost anybody, I don't think yet, but David's still on my team. What?
Who had Cashel?
Cashel was the audience. That's Team Slay. I messed it up before. So the audience has lost their player. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry. Okay, so which Love Islanders do you think will go the furthest, given they are picked off one by one? I think Cashay is going to go the furthest, just for the fact that this seems like maybe it's her arc right now. And the fact that
Justine.
You saying Justine? Oh, yeah, I forgot. Justine actually did really well. That she's qualified for the final at this point, and so maybe she'll get there. People won't be scared of her.
Yeah, I think Justine will go the farthest. I think she's gonna ruffle the least feathers, and she'll hang around for a while, maybe make the final.
Cool. I mean, I'll be happy with that too. Well, thanks again, both of you, for chatting about the show. Thanks, everybody in the chat. Sorry, you guys were chatting a lot, and so were we, so I didn't get to all your comments. But if you do comment on this video below, I'll definitely answer all the comments after the episode has been posted onto YouTube. So thank you for being here. You guys are the best chat grooms in the business. Thank you both for being here. We'll see you guys next week. Unless you have something else to say, we'll say goodbye.
Can't wait for next week.
Bye.